I started working at Beggar's Banquet as a part-time job until I got a real job, and a quarter of a century later I haven't left. The retail arm of the Beggars Group decided to end. They sold it to the then boss and we were about to go bust. But I saw how good the music community was because of this little record shop, and I didn't want that to stop. So we took it on for a quid, and then it became the Banquet we know it as today. It's still me, Mike and Jane running things, but we can't do it without the 24 staff that we have working for and with us. Of course, we've had to adapt and evolve as people's music tastes and the way that they listen to music have changed over the years. But in some ways what we do is exactly the same. It's understanding what the customer wants, what the label wants, what the band wants, and trying to fulfill those requirements. Being independent has allowed us to do that without having to check into some corporate HQ. We're our own bosses, we can do what we want because we are music fans, and so we're the customer too. Back in 2005, when we were taking over the business, I remember it well. I hadn't been paid for 9 months. I remember going to sign the paperwork and the solicitor was saying, "Are you sure you want to do this? People won't be buying records in the future." And I remember the accountant saying, "Why do you have gig posters in the window when you should be concentrating on selling CDs?" But I knew then about the importance of physical music and of records, and I knew then about how people will always want to go to gigs and how we could marry those two things up together. I knew it could work. I didn't know it would work this well. I knew it would be fun, and I didn't know it would be this much fun.
Hello, good evening.
Hello.
How you guys doing?
Good. Break up.
So take a look at the old trees and the past I've been told. I can tell Robinson.
This shop's been there about 30 years. The guy who opened this shop was a guy who ran a chain of Beggars Banquets, which kind of was around at the birth of punk. About 4 years ago now, that guy who now runs XL Records and the Beggars Group decided to get rid of the shops because they weren't really making money. Obviously, there's no history, there's no future in independent record shops, or so they think. So they sold it off to the at the time manager, who took it on. He didn't really know what he's doing, and we were about to go bust. At which point, the people that are here today took the shop on and took on the debts, and so we own it now. That's what we do outside the shop. That banner says it all, really. We're more than just your local record shop. We try, obviously this is the place to come and buy CDs and records and gig tickets and all the things that we make money off, but it's also the place to come in and find out about new bands. Like, you don't have to buy it, like we can just be like, hey, check out this band, they're playing down the road in 2 months' time. And then obviously there's people who come and look at drum and bass, don't even know that we sell indie. They walk down that side, see dance records, come to here, drum and bass, go to the end, it's drum and bass. And I'm sure they know we sell CDs, but I don't think they know what it's all about, you know. But they don't need to, and we're providing a service to those people. We sell gig tickets for drum and bass raves and tape packs, which are just like these bootlegs from live bootlegs of gigs that they went to. But again, like that drum and bass community, there's nowhere else in Kingston for them to find those records or those CDs. We do gigs, we do club nights, we do in-stores, like free gigs, seeing Jamie T for free in a record shop, like, you know, in something this size where there's 150 people at the very most. Like that's a really good service that no one else in Kingston could do. I'd like to think that the thing we can offer people is a certain level of quality and at a decent price, and that's why we got involved in doing stuff at the Works. So the bands that we can get into there are bands that are too big to play any other of the Kingston venues. Like that Young Knife show coming up, that's ridiculous that Young Knife's playing in Kingston for a fiver. Like, this is the difference that we can make. Good Shoes, they're too big to play the Peel now. We couldn't get them at the Peel, but you know, we have them at the Works and a lot of people can watch them and have a fun time. That was one of the best gigs we've done. It was chaos, but a lot of fun.
Still I can hear those dirty birds chirp away. It's a song I know by heart. So tell between friends and acquaintances. It's a thin veil between us, between the bad.
Just we can provide free gigs for people of bands that we think are worth watching. So when we had Cursive play here, that's just amazing. Like anyone that's into Cursive is like, oh my god, Cursive are playing.
Took from me.
This is why the shop's important, because you can pick up your Cursive record here and you can watch them play for free. I like, personally, I'm not the biggest Cursive fan. Like, I can't like everything that we put on, but everyone that came in was so excited by it that's almost better than putting on a band that you really want to see, because like, then you actually feel like you're providing that service that we keep talking about trying to do.
Yeah, it was nice.
We all know a lot about what we do about music because it's our job. You know, you have to. Like, if you go to a plumber's, you'd expect him to be right about how to fix a leak. So if you go into a music shop, you'd at least expect them to be knowledgeable about what the next punk record that you might be into is all about.
Anyway, thank you very much. Thanks to Banquet Records, as always, for having us. I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the converted, but you know, make sure you buy your records from here because they keep in stock what you want and they can recommend you good stuff. The amount of times I've come away with something that I didn't know and absolutely loved it because of their recommendations. I keep going back, keep coming to the club nights, and Kingston's just growing and growing and growing. From being in London area, you know, you can just see it as kind of starting to golf out now, and that's because of all the hard work that goes in from these people that run this record shop. So thank you very much, guys, for having us and for showing support. Running out of the sunlight, you're lying on the sunroom's floor. You contemplating why would it so I'm tired, so out of pocket to ride.
Get my tea in.